ආයු බොහෝ වේවා මේ චන්දන සුද්දා YouTube නාලිකාව දේශපාලනික වශයෙන් දැන් රට යම් උණුසුම් තත්වයක තියෙන්නේ මේ වන විට නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ ඉන්දියාවට යනවා මෝදි ලංකාවට එනවා මෝදි ලංකාවට ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්දියාවට නාමල්ට එන්න කියලා ආරාධනා ලැබෙනවා ඊට පස්සේ මේ සමුළු තියෙනවා ඒ සමුළු වලට ගිහින් නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් කතා කරනවා ඒ එක්කම තවත් අපි කතා කරපු වැඩසටහනක් අපි ඔබට සමීප කරන්නටයි සූදානම් වෙන්නේ CNN Channel 18 නාලිකාව ඔස්සේ පැවති සම්මුඛ සාකච්ඡාවක්. එහිදී නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ මෙන්න මේ වගේ මාතෘකාවක් පිළිබඳව කතා කරලා තියෙනවා. ඉන්දියාව ශ්‍රී ලංකාව 2025 නැගී එන ಭಾರತ್ සමුළුවේදී පැවති විශේෂ සම්මුඛ සාකච්ඡාවකදී ශ්‍රී ලංකා පාර්ලිමේන්තු මන්ත්‍රී නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ තම දේශපාලන උරුමයේ අභියෝග ආර්ථික අර්බුදය සහ ඉන්දියා ශ්‍රී ලංකා සහයෝගීතාවයේ වැදගත්කම පිළිබඳව මෙම සාකච්ඡාවේදී කතා බහට ලක් වෙනවා. ඉතින් මේ වැඩසටහන අපි සූදානම් වෙනවා ඔබට සමීප කරන්නට මේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොදු ජන පෙරමුණ පක්ෂයේ ජාතික සංවිධායක නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ මේ වැඩසටහන් මාලාවේදී නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ සඳහන් කරන්නේ ඔහු ඉන්දියාවට ගියේ ශ්‍රී ලාංකීය රට නියෝජනයක් හැටියට විශේෂයෙන්ම දේශපාලන පසුබිමක් එක්ක දේශපාලනික අර්බුදයක් රටේ තිබුණට පක්ෂ විපක්ෂ ભેදයක් රට තුල තිබුණට නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ ඉන්දියාවට යන්නේ ශ්‍රී ලාංකිකයෙකු ලෙස සහ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ අභිමානය ලෝකෙට ගෙන හැර දක්වන්නට අපි සූදානම් මෙම සම්මුඛ සාකච්ඡාව ඔබට සමීප කරන්නට මේ චන්දන සුද්දා YouTube නාලිකාව
Bring you some interesting geopolitical conversations from News18 Rising Bharat Summit 2025 at a time Prime Minister Modi has returned from a fresh landmark visit from Colombo. The Rajapaksa scion and Sri Lankan Member of Parliament Namal Rajapaksa has cautioned the government in Colombo. He has asserted that the island nation cannot let its territory to be used to harm India's security interests. Listen in to this CNN News 18 exclusive with Namal Rajapaksa. Namal Rajapaksa, thank you for being part of Rising Bharat 2025. I've always wondered, you have such a beautiful name, but what's the meaning of Namal Rajapaksa?
Well, Namal is a flower, so our national tree is Na tree. So the flower of that national tree is Namal. So
what does it mean to be a Rajapaksa in Sri Lanka?
Well, it's a tough job, I guess, because we've gone through a lot and we have a long legacy of doing politics. I mean, I'm the fourth, fifth generation and we have been in politics for the last 100 years. So it has been it has been up and down for us. But I think I'm very proud that we have done always what's best for the country and best for the people of Sri Lanka.
You threw your hat in the ring last year. And of course, I'm sure it came with its own set of learning, even though you couldn't make it to the presidency. But what was the experience like?
Well, I think I had a reason to contest. One of the reasons why I took over the challenge is to make sure that our political setup, our party, is protected. And I think it's always tough to contest a presidential election, especially in a country where you need 51% of the total polling to become the president. And the current president did not end up taking 51%. He only took 43%. So it was a challenge for me and tough decision because I was not ready for it. I was not ready for it. We were looking at a different candidate and we were also negotiating with the ex-president, so how we can collaborate with him. But eventually, for policy reasons, party decided that we need to fill in a candidate, and that candidate backed off at the last minute. And I think that's my opportunity. That's my opportunity to take responsibility as a politician. And I think I'm proud of myself and I'm happy that I took the decision.
But why do you think that you lost?
Well, I mean, it's not just individual. It's just that our party has been going through a difficult time since COVID. We took tough decisions to control COVID. And that entire blame came on Rajapaksas and the government.
Exactly what I was coming to, because whenever we talk about the economic crisis in Sri Lanka, media reports all over the globe, they are blaming the Rajapaksas. So what has been the learning for you as a Rajapaksa for the economic crisis that plagued your country in 2022?
So let me give you some facts. I mean, if you look at the crisis itself, it's purely started with energy crisis, where we were not being able to supply consistent energy, and then the fuel stations and the gas stations. So when we lost in 2015, most of our energy plan that was supposed to be done was halted by that government at that time. And if you look at Sampur project, which was started by initiated by Prime Minister Modi last week, was supposed to be finished by 2016-17, and it was supposed to start in 2015. So as a result, there was no single megawatt introduced to the grid system. So eventually, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's government has to face a power crisis. At the same time, we went through the COVID. We were locked down for almost 2.5 years. Our tourism dropped to zero. And of course, we managed to keep some of our factories open, but as you know, the global market collapsed, and our remittance did not come on time. And we took certain political decisions as well, which was not suitable for that time. I think what I learned from that is to take not only to take challenges, but also to take decisions at the right time.
And I think that's the most important learning, which is why I want, in fact, we talk about timing, and we speak at a time when Prime Minister Modi is fresh back from a landmark visit to Sri Lanka, where, you know, they've also inked a deal to develop Trincomalee as an energy hub, and that's going to be in collaboration with the UAE. Right. So how do you, I'm going to call a spade over here. How do you weigh in or contrast India's investment-led approach to China's what popular culture is referring to as debt trap diplomacy?
Well, it depends how we manage it, to be honest, as a country. I mean, even if it's an investment-led proposal that comes from India, if the governments or the next government does not continue that or try to introduce a different tax on it, then it won't be successful. Similarly, what happened in the previous governments in Sri Lanka. So what we lack in our country, to be honest, is the consistency.
Certain anti-India politics that's happening over here as well. You know, what's grabbing the domestic headlines is the Kachativu issue. And the return of the fishermen. And Prime Minister went to Sri Lanka and he expressed hope that there could be any constitutional changes made or any amendments that could ensure, that the fishermen go scot-free. So what is your assessment?
Well, I think the fishing issue is very sensitive from the both sides, because Sri Lankan fishermen in the north has been the victims at one point, and because of the war, obviously, for 30 years, and also it's not about the fishing itself, it's just the way you fish. It's about bottom trawling and illegal fishing methods. But at the same time, this particular topic has been pretty much politicized in Sri Lanka and also in India. So I think it's purely a regional issue that some people try to make it a national issue in India and some people try to make it a national issue in Sri Lanka.
How do you think New Delhi and Colombo can work together strategically to counter terrorism and to also become a strong strategic force in the Indian Ocean region?
Well, I think it's all about sustainable development, growth. If there is growth, there is no room for extremism or terrorism. And I think when you look at the global context and Indian Ocean, we both face similar challenges when it comes to national security, of course. One is, of course, terrorism. Then we do have extremism, and I think we need to counter that. And also, along with that, organized crimes, organized criminal groups, or drug smuggling, using the Indian Ocean to smuggle drugs to the world. So these are areas that both countries and other nations in the Indian Ocean must work together to make sure that the regional peace is established. And also the global trade is changing now. I mean, with what happening in US, it's all about regional cooperation. It's all about partners in your own region and coming into an understanding.
I just want to, start with a quick rapid fire round. Yeah. What comes to mind when I say Prime Minister Modi?
Well, my father. I see a lot of similarities between him and my father. So when I see how he handled things, how he handles situations, people to people contact, and how religious he is, it's as a strong reflection on my father.
Ram Mandir.
Well, Ram Mandir is something that is very close to Hindus for us, and I think there's a lot of it has to be connected to Sri Lanka because Ram Mandir is something that is close to Ramayana Trail, and I think it's something that has to be promoted.
US tariff.
Well, it will bring us together. It will bring the region together.
Sri Lankan Tamils.
Well, related. I have a lot of Tamil cousins, relatives.
Thank you, Namal Rajapaksa. I'll remember this conversation. Thank you so much for joining us here at Rising Bharat. It was a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you very much.
හරි දැන් නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් කතා කරා හොඳට. දැන් අපි මීට කලින් වැඩසටහන අපි ඔබට ඉදිරිපත් කරා චන්දන සුද්දා YouTube නාලිකාව ඔස්සේ. ඉතින් බොහෝ දෙනෙක් කියලා තිබුණා ඒකට මේ නාමල් රාජපක්ෂගේ ඉංග්‍රීසි හැසිරවීම බොහොම හොඳයි කියන කාරණාවත් එක්කම. මොකද රටක් ලෝකයක් නියෝජනය කරන්නේ අපේ මේ ශ්‍රී ලාංකීය අභිමානය. ඉතින් නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ ඉන්දියාවට ගිහිල්ලා ඉන්දියාවේදී කතා කරන්නේ ඔහු ලංකාවේ ඉන්න දේශපාලන පක්ෂයක් නියෝජනය කරාට ඔහු නියෝජනය කරන්නේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාව. ඔහු තරයේම ප්‍රකාශ කර තිබෙනවා මම නියෝජනය කරන්නේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාව. දේශපාලන යම් මතිමතාන්තර ලංකාව තුළ තිබ්බට මම වෙනත් රටකට ගියාට පස්සේ මම නියෝජනය කරන්නේ මගේ රට. අංක 1 මගේ රට. ඉතින් අපිට මතකයි එතුමාගේ පියත් අංක 1 රට ජාතිය. ඉතින් මේ කාරණා මතක් කරමින් නාමල් රාජපක්ෂත් ඉදිරියේදී ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ජනාධිපතිතුමා වෙන්නට බලාගෙන ඉන්නවා 2029 වර්ෂයේ වෙන විට. අපි ඉතින් සුබ පැතුම් එකතු කරමු නාමල් රාජපක්ෂට තරුණ නායකත්වයට ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ නායකත්වය ලබා ගන්නට ඔහුට හැකියාව ලැබෙන්නට කියලා. ඉතින් චන්දන සුද්දා YouTube නාලිකාව හරහා නාමල් රාජපක්ෂගේ වැඩසටහන් රැසක් අපි රැගෙන එනවා. ඉතින් ඒකම අපි මතක් කරනවා ඔබත් චන්දන සුද්දා YouTube නාලිකාව subscribe කරලා, comment කරලා, like කරලා චන්දන සුද්දාට සහයෝගයක් ලබා දෙන්න. මොකද ඔබ නොදකින දේ චන්දන සුද්දා YouTube නාලිකාව හරහා ඔබට දැකගැනීමේ හැකියාවක් තියෙනවා. එහෙනම් සමගන්නවා ආයුබෝවන් ආයු බොහෝ වේවා. යන්නනේ